Hello, I'm back from New York. Let's talk about the Belgian Grand Prix. Please excuse me if I'm a little delirious. I am still quite jet lagged, but I did have a lot of fun in New York. Thanks for asking. I didn't watch the practice sessions, but I did look at the timesheets, and we've unlocked 2 new top 3 graphics for Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly, who went P3 in FP1 and FP3 respectively, so that's very fun. McLaren, or more specifically Oscar, were very strong. He was P2 in all 3 sessions. Before we get to quali, I just wanted to mention the Alpine livery. They did a Deadpool and Wolverine livery, suits, helmets, everything, so that's pretty cool. I didn't love the livery. It kind of looked like a combination between Ferrari and Haas. And I think I'm just not used to Alpine in red, so maybe that was also a thing. Same goes to the suits they wore, but the fireproofs were fire. Maybe I'm just saying that because I really like yellow, but I think they looked really good. And the helmets, of course, I loved. Esteban had a Deadpool helmet, which he also had one last year. I'm not sure if that's the same one or a new design, but it was cool nonetheless. And Pierre had a Wolverine helmet, which again, I love yellow, so I extra liked it. And one more thing before we get to quali, I just wanted to mention Anthoine Hubert and Dilano van 't Hoff, who both passed away in fatal crashes in Spa in Belgium. Anthoine was in F2 when he passed away in 2019, and Dilano was in Freca and he passed away last year. Some of the drivers currently on the F100 were friends with them and know them. They also did a run on track as a tribute to them, and I just wanted to say their names, pay some respect to them and their families, and remember and remind everyone that the sport is very, very dangerous and these people are very, very young. And despite the ongoing efforts to improve the safety in the cars on track, accidents can still happen, and we shouldn't take for granted every time a crash happens and everyone's okay. So just wanted to put that out there and think about the people who we've lost along the way for a few moments. And now we can move to quali, which I didn't watch the entirety of. I've watched sections of it. It wasn't too exciting. It was wet, but not like crazy wet. The only thing that kind of made it exciting was that Max had a 10 grid penalty for taking extra engine components, which Red Bull had elected to take in Spa because Spa is such a good track for them, and specifically for Max, who had already won here in 2022 from P14. So that's the reasoning why they did that today. But that meant that no matter where Max finished in quali, he would not start from the top 10 for the race. And of course, Max knows to deliver, and he went P1 by quite a margin. He had 6 tenths between him and Charles Leclerc, who somehow found himself in P2. Not really sure how he took that Ferrari there, but that's fine. I'm not complaining. We also had a little comeback for Verstappen, which I didn't know how much I missed until now. So that was fun. Alex Albon was very, very close to Q3. He was 0.03 of a second away from Checo, who was P10. So that's a shame for him. And I'm not sure what happened to McLaren, who were P5 and 6 in the end of Q3, especially with what we've seen from them in practice. So okay. Yuki also, by the way, had a 60 grid penalty for extra engine components he took, which meant that no matter where he qualified, he would start last, which I don't know if that's the reason he didn't qualify well or if there was other reasons for that. And now for the race, which before we get to the race itself, I just wanted to talk about my watching experience for a second, because I watched it in like a bar restaurant place where they put the F1 sessions on. So that was very, very cool. Very different from my usual setup, which is just sitting alone in my room watching F1, because no one I know in real life likes F1. So that was a really good and fun change of pace. It was very cool just having other people reacting and having the same passion as I have towards F1. I saw a lot of people, of course, in merch and hats and shirts, and also a person who is definitely Valtteri Bottas. I'm not sure who drove this week for Sauber, but Valtteri Bottas was in that bar for the Sunday. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. So going to the race itself, it was a good race, but it was also disappointing. I mean, it was good because a lot of things happened, but it was also disappointing because That's not the result I wanted. We'll start at the start. Of course, Lando. I love the guy. I love him with all my heart, but he needs to work on his starts because this start probably fucked his whole race. He went wide in turn 1 with no one really to blame for except for himself. He dipped a wheel in the gravel, lost a few places, and then couldn't really recover for the rest of the race, so not sure what happened there. I hope he, I don't know, gets out of his head. I feel like he's too in his head to nail a start. Not that he started in like a great position, he was P5, but still could have maybe have gotten a podium, or at least P4, or at least finished in front of Max. But also McLaren didn't really help him with their strategy. As usual, I mean, it's what we expect at this point. They allowed him to get undercut by Max twice, and instead of like trying to have a tire advantage at the last stint, they just didn't do that. So yeah. And I feel extra bad for Lando because his mom is Belgium, so this is actually his second home race. So a shame that he didn't have a great result. I mean, P5 is not bad, but it is if you're considering he's Lando Norris and he drives a McLaren. Other than that, I had a lot of hope for Oscar. I really believed he could win this race, and if there were just like 2 more laps or even 1 more lap, he probably could have. But again, that's not how this works. He finished in a very respected P3 on road, and then P2 after a certain thing happened. And Max, like Max, climbed up all the way to P4 from P11. So yeah, he's still very good at Spa. Not maybe as good. No, I think he stayed the same. He's as good as he always was. It's just that Red Bull is not as good and everyone else is better. So he couldn't grab that win. Or wait, he wasn't P4. No. Yes, he was. Wait. Oh, okay. P5 on road, P4 after the certain thing that happened. Okay. Let's stop dancing around it. George Russell, poor guy, got disqualified after he won. Brilliantly, actually. He went for the 1 stop and managed to keep enough life in his tires in a very long stint with Lewis and Oscar right behind him. But obviously he managed to do that because his car was underweight. 1.5 kilos underweight. Poor George. I mean, without that disqualification, I don't think he could have won. Like, without that weight advantage, I don't think he could have won. But he definitely could have gotten P3, P4, and that's obviously a lot better than being disqualified. And then we had Hamilton inherit the win, Oscar going P2, and Charles Leclerc inheriting the P3. So disappointing because, well, first of all, disappointing initially because I don't like Mercedes. So a double podium for them, a 1-2. I'm not enjoying this. So sorry. I do like George, so that was the little light in it. And obviously Oscar was on the podium, so that was my happiness in it. And then George got disqualified. And again, I was disappointing for George, but that also meant that Oscar and Charles were P2 and P3, so that made me happy. But then, I mean, Oscar didn't win, and also Lando was not in a good position. So, it's very conflicting and weird. I don't know how to feel. Oh, one more thing. Daniel Ricciardo was promoted to the points because of that disqualification, which again, I'm very happy for. He was actually running in P10 for a while there and then got passed by Esti Bestie. So I'm just glad that he got that place back. I'm sorry, this video is very all over the place. As I said, I'm very jet lagged still, so sorry about that. So now after Belgium, it's the summer break, aka silly season, which, if we're being honest, started before the season has even begun with Lewis moving to Ferrari. But there's already stuff to discuss about contracts and things moving around. First and foremost, Bruno Femin, who was team principal at Alpine, is stepping down from the role and leaving it to, wait, let me get his name, Oliver Oakes, who is, or was, the team principal for High Tech, which is a team that competes in F2 and F3. So he will be the team principal for Alpine after the summer break. I wish all the luck to him. That doesn't seem to be a position that people keep for very long, but hopefully he can make the best out of it. And for the more interesting and important maybe move that we had is that Carlos Sainz has signed with Williams, which of course means that now Logan has no seat for 2025. I doubt that he'll find one. So this is probably his departure from the sport. And as much as I'm happy for Carlos, I like Logan more, and I'm very sad for him. And I mean, it's not over yet. Mercedes still has a seat. But I don't know. I just wish him all the best of luck. And just, I will miss him. Sad eagle sounds. I'm editing and I forgot to say that also it was confirmed that Esteban will be going to Haas with Ollie next year. I just thought I talked about it last time, but it was just speculation then. It is now confirmed, so good luck, Ollie. Yeah, good luck. Do I have anything else to say? I don't think so. So have a great summer break, everyone. I'll see you in 4 weeks. Enjoy these memes in the meantime. Bye. Oh my god, I actually cannot speak. The jet lag is so real.